their faces, they wanted to keep it. She made sure, one of the good things that she did is she made sure all of the sales went through Zero, which is an accounting product. She had no idea how to actually do the accounts, but she made sure everything was going through Zero. But if you spoke to her about her unit economics, about her logistics, about how much her people cost, about how many people she needed to have in each store in order to get X amount of sales, she could tell you that off the back of her head. She could write it down in a napkin, and you wouldn't be able to argue with her around like, what if you tried to produce this locally? No, if I did that, this is how my margin would thin out. The reason why I'm importing this part from here is because of this. She knew those numbers to the T. You could wake her up at any time and ask her about how do we increase this margin here? I've been thinking about this. She would have the answer. And when she did come to us, as Tokumba said, she said, I actually don't have an accountant, I don't have a bookkeeper, everything goes through this platform, so I definitely need support with that back end. And when we did give her that support, it was a fantastic business. It was solid from the accounting perspective, because the one thing she was deliberate about was actually making sure everything went through that system, even though she didn't have prepared financial statements. And so this is what coming correct means. It means you about your product, you know it from front to back. Even if it's a tech product, how much money are you spending to acquire each customer? Some of us are just like putting more in Facebook marketing, making Facebook richer. We don't know how many customers we're getting back from Facebook and how that is measuring up with even just the industry standard. Is that okay for your industry? Is that not okay? A second one that has become a major pain point for me, particularly during the pandemic and post-pandemic, is the lack of visibility that women entrepreneurs have online. We run an open call for applications 3 times a year where you can apply through our platform and put details about your business. And of course, one of the things we're going to have in that form is your website or your LinkedIn. And I'll tell you, if there's zero, it's difficult for me to be convinced that this is actually a real business that exists. In this day and age, there's absolutely no excuse for not having some form of online presence that can help, corroborate that you actually do exist, and that, we can take the next step to start having these conversations. And some of these businesses have good numbers, and it's looking kind of solid. Now you're giving me extra work to start phoning people in the market to say, have you heard about this entrepreneur? Does she actually exist? Have you seen this product? When I can start first from your website and learn a little bit more about your story. So not being shy about building your brand, and this is both physically but also online. Being deliberate about events like this and not being afraid to put up your hand and tell us you're building an Alibaba for Africa. All of that is about really building your brand, and you have to be really deliberate about that.
Thank you, and thank you for those stories. And just to double click on your point, when this program is by application, and so you put out the advert and you apply to come